In the world of One Piece, bounties are determined off of the threat level of the character in question. The greater threat to the One Piece world, the greater the bounty. It's not just based off strength, but even though we have gotten some crazy bounty upgrades and reveals, there are still quite a bit of bounties that are a mystery. This video, I'll be giving you guys my bounty predictions on some of those characters. What's up guys, if you're new here, my name is Romans, aka Roman Sensei. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the crew. But I know the real reason why you're here. Let's get to these One Piece characters and their bounties. The first character I have up is Shiru of the Rain. He is a skilled swordsman who is the ex-head of Impel Down and now a Titanic captain for Blackbeard. He was locked up in level 6 himself because he went off the rails numerous times against prisoners. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a great yet scary asset to have on your crew, but he is extremely strong. And on top of his reputation, we also have to remember the devil fruit that he has in possession. Shiru does possess the clear fruit, which makes him even more dangerous due to the ability of becoming completely invisible. Now, one of the things that I did put into account when thinking of his bounty, I did put into account Zoro. I do see Shiru as being part of Zoro's path, becoming a strong swordsman. And due to his old position for the One Piece world government and now working for one of their largest enemies, for now, I'd say that his bounty would be around 1.8 billion to 2 billion berries. Can't wait to see what you guys think in the comments below, but that's the amount that I'm gonna give Shiru of the Rain. But I guess if I had to say an exact amount, I'll say 1.8 billion. Now, the next character we have up is a character we almost know nothing about, but it's fair to say that his bounty should be fairly high. It's Mr. Beckman himself. He is the right-hand man to Shanks. It was stated that he does have the highest IQ in the East Blue. I do know there's that theory that Beckman is just as strong as Shanks because it's said that he's just as feared, but I do think that has to do more of his knowledge than his power. But that's not taking anything away from Mr. Beckman at all. But besides his weapon that he carries and him being the one that took Eustace Kid's arm, we don't really know that much about him, so all we can really do right now is just go off the reputation of him and his crew. Now, I will say this, I do believe that Shanks's bounty is lower than it should be, so I'm going to give Beckman the same treatment. I would say that his bounty would be around 2.8 to 3 billion. Now, I know some people may say that's a little too high, some people may think that's a little too low, but I think that's a good area to put him in right now, especially if we're counting the fact that we still barely know anything about him. Let's be real, we can only go so far with the Kizaru panel with him having his hands up against Beckman. Now, the next character that we have up is a personal favorite of mine, and there is a lot I can say about him. It is Sabo, Mr. Sabo himself. But let's get right to the gist of it. He is the right-hand man to Dragon, the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army. He's the man who carries Ace's will. Some would say that Sabo is the Revolutionary Army due to recent actions. Now, Sabo's current bounty right now is 602 million berries, and it's fair to say, let's be real, it is too low. Because right now in the manga, he has now been framed for the murder of King Cobra, as well as being looked at as a hero among the people, being named the Flame Emperor. He has seen Imu and the Gorosei, he attacked Imu and the Gorosei, and he survived Imu and the Gorosei. Sabo has done the taboo. He has seen what he should not have seen, and now he's seen what he can't unsee. Now, if things went a little bit different for Sabo and he wasn't framed for King Cobra's murder, maybe his bounty would be a little bit lower. And he isn't a pirate, so I'm not even gonna try and compare his bounty to other pirates as well, because me personally, I feel like Sabo's bounty will be at 3 billion berries. The only way I see it being lower than 3 billion is if the world government wants to give him the Nico Robin treatment. And when I say that, I mean how they nerfed Nico Robin's bounty due to her threat level. Now, that might be a hot take. That might be a little bit biased due to me being a Sabo fan, but that's my decision. The next character we have up is a One Piece OG, and it's Mr. Kozuki Odin. Now, it's always surprised me that Odin's bounty has never been revealed, so let's figure this out. Odin was a beast, one of my favorite OG characters by far. He wasn't a pirate for that long, but when he was, boy, did he make some noise. Do you understand how much noise you need to make as a pirate to get the respect from the characters that he got respect from? He was a part of both Roger's and Whitebeard's crew. He left a lifelong impression on the characters such as Kaido. That's why it confuses me when people talk down on Odin. He was a complete powerhouse. And the crazy thing about Odin is that's not even the real reason why I would give him a high bounty. Besides being a part of Roger and Whitebeard's crew, he came from the land of Wano. He knew how to read and write the poneglyphs, and he reached Laugh Tale. And just like the knowledge that Nico Robin possesses, that alone is a threat, and because of that, I'm gonna give Odin a bounty of 3.3 billion berries. I honestly think that's a bounty that we all can be okay with. Now, the next character we have up is a character that I know we are gonna be waiting to see more from in 2024, and it's Aliji. Current Aliji is officially a Blackbeard pirate, and that alone would give you a pretty high bounty. But besides just that, we know that he has the strength due to his 10-day fight with the Kainu at Punk Hazard, and more recently, Aliji showed more of his abilities at Hachinosu. And it may not have been a lot of abilities that he showed us, but the character that he was going up against was Monkey D. Garp himself, so the few things that we saw from Aliji, yeah, it's validated. And with him being an ex-Marine, it's fair to say that he does know a certain amount of secrets that the world government should be scared about. And when I say secrets, that could even involve Ohara and incidents even before Ohara. So right now, Blackbeard's current bounty is 3.9 billion berries, so I see Aokiji's bounty being around 3.5. And because of those valuable points alone and the position that Aokiji used to be in, I do see his bounty once released being about 3.5 billion berries. Now look, I know some people may say that is a little high, especially due to Blackbeard's current bounty being about 3.9 billion berries, but I just feel like this situation going on with Blackbeard and Aokiji is different than the regular captain vice captain type of situation here. Now the next character up is a fan favorite and the right hand man of the pirate king himself. It's Silver's Rayleigh. There is no doubt in my mind that Rayleigh is a hockey savant and one of the strongest characters in his prime. We have even seen plenty from him in his older age that helps with the imagination of how his prime was. And if we're simply just going off of what he said earlier in the story, which is, if you people would withdraw my bounty, I'd be able to retire in peace, it's fair to say that his bounty is something crucial. It has to be. He's an extremely skilled swordsman. He's been to Laugh Tale. That means we do know that Rayleigh knows the secrets of the world and the Void Century. And since Roger's bounty was over 5.5 billion berries, I feel like giving Rayleigh a 3.7 billion berry bounty is appropriate. I just don't see the right-hand man of the first king of the pirates having a low bounty. I just don't see it. Now the next character we have up is a little bit controversial in the One Piece community because some people really think he's weak, and that character would be Shiki, the Golden Lion. Shiki was an absolute problem, yet I never see people ask or bring up his bounty. And if I'm being honest, I really do think that's just due to how things went down in the One Piece film Strong World, but that's not canon Shiki. Canon Shiki is a beast. He is one of the strongest pirates of his time, said to be one of Roger's greatest rivals, and yeah, it's not just gonna take a thorax to beat Shiki in any way possible. When Roger was arrested, Shiki also attacked Marine headquarters, and that's how the fight between him, Prime Garp, and Prime Sengoku was born. And just in case you didn't know, that fight alone destroyed half of Marineford, and that is how Shiki got put in Impel Down. And then that led to Shiki being the first person in history to escape from Impel Down by cutting off his legs and replacing them with his twin blades. That's what I've been trying to say. Some of these OGs are truly built different. That's not something, that's crazy. That's crazy. But even though we really don't know anything about his hockey, what makes him dangerous over everything is his crazy devil fruit. Shiki does possess the float fruit, and it gives him the ability to levitate non-living objects and himself. He can lift heavy objects, ships, and many other things. Now it is also said that Shiki and his crew did almost defeat Roger in the sea. Now granted, it was Shiki and his whole armada against Roger and his one ship, the Oro Jackson, but he almost beat him if it wasn't for a storm. So for all that being said, and the top tier characters that Shiki is always mentioned with, I am going to give Shiki a whopping 4.1 billion berry bounty. Just like I said, bounties are not just based off of your strength, it's also based off of numbers, and it was said that Shiki did have the largest pirate fleet at that time, so I think 4.1 billion is appropriate. And now we're on to the last two. The next character that we have up is arguably one of the strongest One Piece characters ever. It's Mr. Rox DEET. We have not been given a lot about him, but with everything that we have been given to go off of, he was known to be Roger's rival. Look at the crew that he recruited and had under him. The incident at God's Valley, they had to completely erase him from history. And that's what makes this very tricky, because at the same time it was said that Roger and Whitebeard have the highest bounties of any pirate. So what if Rox did have a higher bounty, but since they erased him from history, it doesn't matter anymore? So basing everything off of what we know about Rox at this very moment, I think it's fair to assume that his bounty is going to be extremely high. I'm gonna give him a 5 billion berry bounty. Now that does mean Roger and Whitebeard's bounties are higher than Rox's, but it is possible, like I said before, that Rox could have had the highest bounty and then Roger and Whitebeard's increased, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm gonna give Rox a 5 billion berry bounty. So we'll see. Maybe one day we'll finally see what his bounty was, if he ever was given one, and we'll see how close I was. And last but not least, the character that we have finishing off this list is Monkey D. Dragon. He is the head of the Revolutionary Army, the most dangerous man in the One Piece world, and we still don't know a lot about his powers. But luckily, the bounties are also based off other things besides just powers. Within this past year, it was finally confirmed that Dragon was a Marine, so he is an ex-Marine. So that's probably something that has definitely been accounted for when they made his bounty. When we look at his actions as the Revolutionary Army leader, he has recruited forces from all over the world. He is the father of Monkey D. Luffy, who is now a Yonko in the One Piece world. They said that no other pirate has had a higher bounty than Roger and Whitebeard, and I think that's true because Dragon is not a pirate. I have Dragon's bounty as the world's dangerous man at 6 billion berries. I do believe that Dragon is going to have the highest bounty that we've seen in One Piece, and if I'm being honest, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Dragon has been hyped up all this time as as the world's most dangerous man, the world's most dangerous criminal, so why wouldn't the world's most dangerous criminal have the highest bounty? But yeah guys, that's all for this video. Make sure to let me know what you think their bounties are in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We'd love to have you. I have more videos on the way for you guys, so until I see you next time, much love, God bless, and Happy New Year.